Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. Today, you notice I don't have anything on. I figure, you know what, I'm not going to record after I have all my makeup on, do back record and edit it in the front. I'll just let you see the way I look with no makeup on. So today I am trying out some new products. We've got Revlon has come out with not only one, but two different kinds of primers. They've also come out with a new concealer and a new foundation. And this is their Revlon Youth Fx. And I have several other products here from Revlon, and then I have some new products from Maybelline. So I'm kind of doing a mismatch because I just noticed I didn't get eyeshadow palettes from Revlon, so I only got these kind of buggers to show you guys. So I figured we'll pull in the new Maybelline palettes, give them a try, and then also some of their face products since I didn't get any from Revlon and I just noticed when I sat down to record this. So if you're interested in seeing how these products perform, stay tuned. Now, boy. You know, this is the first time I've ever seen a company of, especially drugstore, come out with two different primers. Believe it or not, they have one for the forehead. This is called, and they claim instant results on these, by the way. This is called Revlon Youth Fx Fill Plus Blur Primer for Forehead. So there's that. Now, I do want to say real quick, these are really expensive for drugstore. I was very shocked because each one of these primers, if I remember correctly, is about $20. So, and I got mine at Fred Meyer's, which is, if you're not in the Seattle area, or Oregon, I don't know if you even have a Fred Meyer. Okay, so the other primer, but they're available at pretty much any drugstore. This one is the Fill Plus Blur Primer for face and neck. So that's what that one looks like. And then we have the Fill Plus Blur Concealer. And there's that. Looks like it has a little sponge tip applicator and a clicky type thing. And then here is this is the Fill Plus Blur Foundation. And I got it in the lightest color I could find, which is 110 Ivory. And it is contains a broad spectrum SPF 20. And I wondered why this is so heavy. It's in a glass bottle. So there is the forehead primer. This is a new one for me. I do a lot of expressions with my face, and because of that over the years, I've gotten some pretty significant lines in my forehead, so we're really going to put this puppy to the test. Now let's see here what it says. Brush product onto forehead lines and wrinkles. Let dry. Wear alone or under your makeup. I've never heard of a neck primer before. So this is how this one comes with a little sponge tip guy on the end, a sponge tip applicator. And this says remove plug, press bottom of package gently to dispense, apply and blend over face and neck wrinkles. And like I said, this is a sponge tip applicator and has a little clicky pen on the bottom. And this says gently dot concealer directly under eye area, blending outward. Spot apply throughout face. We'll have to see, because boy, these are going to have to be really good to be worth 20 bucks. And I'll zoom you in a little closer so you can see my before and after. Okay, first off, let's open this up and see. Oh! Well, that's different. It's kind of a, it almost looks like a nail polish brush, and then it has glue on it. Okay, let's try this out. They don't say how much you're supposed to use. It just says paint it on the wrinkles. So, can you guys see my wrinkles? Okay, and again, here's the, you can see it's got a little plug in it. And there's the container it comes in. So, remove plug. Okay. And it's a, I guess I would describe this as silicone type, rubbery feeling. It's hard. It's not soft and spongy. I mean, it's hard. Now, how do I get the product out? Twist it. Come up. Are you in there? Hello? Anyone home? Hello? It pushes. Oh my God. Well, there she comes. But, there we go. Okay. While my forehead's drying, I might as well work on the rest of my face. So just to check again, it says remove plug, press bottom. Got it set it right here. Gently dispense product, apply and blend over face and neck wrinkles. Okay, so my biggest wrinkles, I have some right here in the corners of my eyes. And then of course my big smile lines. Those are my biggest wrinkles. My forehead's still not dry. I wonder if I should use, well, I'm going to try using the applicator first. And then if that doesn't work, I'll just, I mean, if I don't like it, I'll just wipe it off and use my fingers. So let's see. Do you see it made a difference? Between this side where it's on and this side where it has none? I don't know. Okay, let's put a little, I do have a wrinkle right there. It's more like a crevice that drives me nuts because foundation likes to sink right in that little area of my chin there. And let's do, I have some, the smile lines kind of continue down here a little. So let's put just a tiny bit out and cover these guys. I'm kind of trying to push it into the actual wrinkle, the product, and then I'll go over it with my fingers. I don't know, can you guys, is the camera close enough where you can see it? Yeah, it's, I need to get a macro lens and then I'll be able to get it much closer, but forehead's still not dry, so let's continue. I mean, I see a little bit, you know, this looks a little bit smoother here, whereas this line looks a lot sharper. I mean, like, I can see, you know, here where it just divots in, but I don't actually see the straight line anymore. Here I can actually see the straight line of the wrinkle. You see what I'm talking about there? So I don't know if it'll be visible or not, but let's try filling this side and then see if you can see the difference. Now I do want to put a little bit here on the top of my lip too, because I'm starting to get those, not starting to get there, the wrinkles that we lovely women get at the top of our lips as we age. That's why that and my forehead are my biggest pet peeves right now, that I'd love to get like some lip plumper here on the top to kind of plump that out. Oh, and my under eyes. Because I look like I have massive dark circles under my eyes, but I don't. It's just because of the fact that I've lost that volume under my eyes. That happens, another wonderful thing that happens when we age. And because, you know, when the volume disappears under the eyes there, it creates shadows. Good old shadows where we don't want them. What do you think? Now see, I can see the difference on this side right away because I know what I'm looking for in that stark line that was there. You know, I can see the indentation of, you know, where my smile line is, but I don't see that stark wrinkle line there. You see the difference on that one now? This one I notice even more than this side. But yeah, I mean, from what I can see on both sides, that worked. So let's try my eyes. Again, they're not, you know, because my skin is so pale, I think is part of it, but I have some wrinkles that go out right here on the side and then branch out right here. I'm hoping that the light's hitting them good so you can see them. Who thought you'd ever say that? I hope you can see my wrinkles. So let's try this here and see. Where'd they go? Now I know they were there, but they definitely, that definitely made a difference, like, immediately. Wow. Now maybe because these weren't as large of wrinkles as these down here, not only did it take a very little amount of product, I can just barely see these ones right here. So I'm just going to try and put a little more. But I mean, that really, I noticed an immediate difference right there. That was pretty impressive. You guys, can you see that? God, I hope you can see it. I mean, that's, and you know, I'm thinking, I wonder, well, is it the reflection of the product? Because, you know, obviously when you put something wet on your face, it's going to cast a reflection, which can, if light's bouncing off, it can minimize the look of the wrinkles. But I don't think, let me just pat this in so it gets rid of the shine. Yeah, look at that. See, now there's no shine there anymore, but those wrinkles that were here are all but gone. I can just barely see them. And the ones here, I can't see them at all. Wow. Okay, on to this side. Now again, same place, you can see, hopefully, I have small, like, sideways wrinkles. Like, there's one right there, right above my nail. Here's another one. And then my eye, I have one right there and one right there. So let's just squeeze out a tiny bit of this and pat her on there. I think this applicator works really good with this product because I hate to say it, but it almost works like a spatula. You know, like it's by gliding over the skin, the areas where there's the slight wrinkles kind of go under this, and the product is allowed to fill it because of the flat surface. So I actually think this works better than using my finger. Head is now dry. So you can see it looks all dry, so I can still see all my wrinkles. I mean, you can still see them all. But let's see what happens when I put the foundation on. I've got this one wrinkle right here that's still making itself visible, so let's see if this will help. You know, if this stays on with, you know, when foundation then goes over it, then I'm going to be pretty impressed with the results of this. For those of you that don't know, I used to have very, very dry skin, but because of how aggressive I've been with my skincare routine, my skin has now gone from very, very dry to normal. So I'm normalizing my skin, so I'm real happy with that. I want to use this primarily for concealer, so I'm going to put it on first because I want to see how it's going to react without anything else there. So again, this little guy has the sponge tip. Ooh boy, you don't want to press hard on it because there's something hard under there. And let's push. It has a little clicky. Hello! Come to the party! And I forgot to say the color. I got this in 01 Fair. Okay, and there we go. We have product! So, just to be clear, again it says gently dot concealer directly under eye area, blending outward, and apply throughout face as needed. So what I'm going to do is just see what a difference, if any. Oh, whoops. Whoopsies! A lot was in that one area. I'm going to get my good old beauty blender and let's see. Thing though, for fair, this is not very fair for their lightest color. I mean, see, look how dark that is on my skin. So I guess good thing I'm putting it under the foundation because dang, that is way too dark for my skin tone. Well, there it is on one eye. What do you think? And I can definitely see this eye looks lifted, if you will, compared to this one. Because you can see the shadow in this one going all the way down, so this one looks like it's sagging a lot more than this one does to me. I'm going to put some on my eyelid as well, because as you can see, I have very thin skin on my eyelids, Always have. And so you can see my veins and every bit of discoloration under there. You want to know what my circulatory system looks like? Just look at my eyelids. Well, that got rid of some of the redness. I can still see all of the veins underneath, but of course I don't want to put it on heavy here. To tell you I'm a neutral skin tone. Anyways, okay, let's try the other eye. Yeah, this is way too dark. If I was going to use this, I'd have no choice but to use it underneath foundation. Now, I'll tell you one thing, that if you want your concealer to really have a lot more impact, doesn't matter what concealer you're using, I found that this works. It's what I've always done when I really want to get the most out of my concealer, and that is pat it on with your finger first. Put it on, you know, just like I did. Pat it on with your finger. Let it sit for a second so that it gets tacky. Some of the moisture of it evaporates. And then go follow up with your beauty blender, your brush, whatever you want to use. Because I find that it doesn't pick up whatever you're using, whether it's a brush, beauty blender, whatever, or your finger. It doesn't pick up as much of the product. A lot more of the product stays actually under your eye or wherever you're trying to conceal. I mean, do you see the difference there? I can see it considerably. Like, this eye to me looks much more concealed than this one. I can still see some redness and darkness here, right in this area, where I can't so much here. And that's because of how I applied the very same concealer, same amount of concealer. Now let's do my eyelid. But I just find that it works a lot better if you pat it out first. And then just give it, you know, you don't want to let it set for very long, obviously, because it'll completely set and then you won't be able to blend it at all. But I just let it, after I blend it in, I just let it set for a couple seconds just to let some of the moisture work its way out, evaporate out of the product. Now, I'm just going to put a little more under my eye here to, come on baby, to get rid of, see if I can get rid of some of that, and right there. Yeah, what the hell. But it's just a little trick that's worked for me for years and years. But you can really see how dark this is. And this is fair. Come on, Revlon. It doesn't give me a lot of hope for the foundation if this is their fair and concealer. Holy cow. I mean, this is dark on my skin. Excuse me. I also did get this Revlon Photo Ready Color Correcting Primer. I think I'm going to try this one since I've got all these primers here. I'm obviously not going to use it now, but I think I'm going to try that on Brie because we're going to do a get ready with me. Mom does my makeup and daughter does my makeup here pretty soon as she's got school behind her and can record with me a little more. Okay, let's move on to this puppy. Let's see what... Oh, it's thick. It is thick. I don't know. Oh boy, it's really thick. Holy cow. This kind of worries me a little. I mean, look at that. You know, I'm putting the product on and pulling my finger away and it's leaving little mountains, little stiff, what we call stiff peaks in baking. I don't know. We'll have to... I think I'm just gonna... I don't even know how much I'm putting on here. I'm probably putting on way too much. But let's try with the Beauty Blender on this side and see what she does. Oh wow, this is really thick. I literally feel like I have to add an oil to this. I mean, because this is thick. It's very, it's dry in consistency. I think that's why the texture of it's kind of bothering me in applying it because my skin's already dry. But we'll see. I would definitely recommend using a wet beauty blend, a really, probably, you know, a wet beauty blender with this. Mine's very dry because I typically squeeze as much water as I can out of it. I don't know about this. And you can still see my little guys through it here, even though I concealed them. Let's go to the forehead and see if this forehead primer made any difference. This is really thick, you guys. I mean, it's like wow thick. I don't think I've used a foundation this thick before. At least not in a very, very long time. I mean, look at that. It doesn't even... Oh, no, no. Do you see that? Look at that. No way. Not gonna happen. Revlon. What the frick? Look what it did, you guys. It stuck to every area that I painted on that primer. Can you see that? What the hell? Now that's dry. I mean, you guys saw how long, and it's sticky. Like I can feel my beauty blender sticking to the stripes. Look at that. The product, okay, let me see if I, oh, I don't even like the feeling of this. I have to add some more. It's so dry. That's just some Mario Badescu. See if I can, oh my God, this is horrible. Wow, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I mean, look, I'm like rubbing now. Can you guys see that on my forehead? Okay, let's... I don't know if something's wrong with this particular bottle or if it... I don't know. This is really... I'm getting it to come off of all of that primer, but I'm having to rub. Oh, that was horrible. Okay, well, you can see now. I finally got the frickin' foundation stripes gone. But of course now when I go to this side, it's going to do the same damn thing. Oh, man, that... I don't even want to continue with it at this point. But let's... It's so dry. I mean, it feels like I'm putting spackle on. You know, here I was referring to spackling, using that type thing, you know. It literally feels like I'm putting spackle on my face. Oh, it's so dry. It makes me wonder if this foundation really is this dry or if I've got a bad bottle. Because, you know, it's possible. I mean, it happens. Maybe, you know, I got one that's dried out or something. I don't know, but I am not liking this right now. I mean, like it... Jesus. Everywhere I put, even this primer, it's adhering to it. Like right here, in this area, on my chin, right here, here. It's just awful feeling. I'm just going to use my Sigma F80 Kabuki, and a flat top Kabuki, and I'm going to spray it real quick with, actually maybe I should spray it with some, I'm going to spray it with some Fix Plus. This is just the coconut one out of the latest, actually let's spray my face. Love the smell of that. Okay. I almost feel like I'm having to work way too hard to save a foundation that's not worth saving, because I don't like this at all right now. If you had dry skin, I mean like dry skin, I honest to God, I don't see how you could use this. And my skin's dry, but there's, you know, obviously people out there that have drier skin. Man, what I don't get is this foundation is intended, targeted for women my age. Because obviously, you know, there's not a lot of 20-year-olds out there running around that have to worry about wrinkle control. Rubbing it in with a brush with a lot of Fix Plus on it kind of helped smooth it out a little bit. But hell, I don't want to have to do this. Especially when I still don't like the way it looks. But for the sake of this test, we're gonna march for it. I mean, look at that. It is just thick. Looks like a little foundation poop. Ugh. I don't even like the way it feels when I lay it on my skin. Here we go again. Glom on to where I painted on that primer. Oh, man. It's not doing it as bad on this other side now that I, you know, probably washed all of it off by soaking my face with Fix Plus. So I really can't effectively review that forehead primer because not only did I, you know, wipe most of it away the first time on this side trying to get it to unstick from the foundation, but then I sprayed a buttload of Fix Plus on my face to try and get some moisture there. You know, I'm almost afraid to, you know, there's areas that, like, I can still see some discoloration here. I can still see some on my chin, around my nose, even though I put concealer there, I can still see some. And of course I can still see these here, but okay, let's do this for the sake of, I'm going to try with the brush and just see how, if it reacts differently. Oh, it's just, you know, the reason I wouldn't want to use a brush with this, is because it's so thick. You literally have to tug on your face to get it to blend. I mean, I would literally have to take the brush and just, And, you know, like I said, it could be that I got a bad bottle. I mean, that is completely possible. I'd be curious. I'm gonna, when I'm done here doing this, I'm gonna go online to Revlon's website and read some reviews and see what people say about it, because this is, I mean, look at that. Even after I put more on, it's still showing through. So I don't even know if I can count this as a medium coverage foundation, but it's thicker than, I mean, look at how thick it is. I know I keep saying that, but I can't get over it. I've never used a foundation that's this thick. I mean, it feels like I'm wearing stage makeup, but you're not getting the benefit of it, you know? Okay, well, now that my face feels absolutely horrible. I mean, my face right now feels, the best way I can describe this is, I feel like I've got a really thick, I feel like I've got a foundation that's loaded with oil, but that it doesn't absorb into the skin. And I don't know, it doesn't say oil free on here, so I don't know, it could very well have quite a bit of oil in it, but that's what it feels like. If you've ever put a really, really heavy oil on your skin and it just sat there, and then maybe you put foundation or moisturizer or whatever on top of it and it added to it, that's what I feel like right now. As for how it looks, I don't know about what you guys think. Let me know in the comments, but I am not impressed at all. You know, I can clearly see the wrinkles in my forehead, and we all know what the chances of that, you know. I don't like the way it looks around my mouth. I don't like the way it looks around my nose, on my chin here, everywhere, basically. I mean, look at that. Even, see that? See the foundation moving here? All I did was wipe it with my beauty blender and it picked it up right off my face there. Ugh. I can't believe that. I mean, there's just got to be something. Either there's something wrong with the foundation I have, or they created a foundation that doesn't work with the primers they created it for, because, I mean, you saw right there what it did on my forehead and everywhere else where I applied the other primer, this one here, for face and neck. Everywhere I applied it, the foundation glommed onto it, just stuck to it like glue. Oh, my face feels so icky right now. And I'm afraid to touch it because it just, as you can see, it just moves right off. Okay, well, I don't have a powder, a drugstore powder of Revlon's, so I'm going to try this one. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This is a new powder, I believe, and I bought it in 05 Clear. Ooh, it feels very, very fine. Very finely milled. I mean, it's very finely milled. Very soft. But let's see how it does under. Try and pat it off in there. Woo! Look at all that powder. You can see how finely milled it is. Hopefully it's flying in the air. Okay, let's see how it does under the eyes. I don't know if this is going to be a good powder to use under the eyes, but that's what we're here for, is to test. And everything else is going to hell in a handbasket, so hopefully something will work today. It's really like making my eyelids look even more wrinkly. See that? Yeah, I don't know that this is one I would use under my eyes. I'm not particularly caring for it either. So this might be a great face powder, but I don't know that this is one I'd use under my eyes necessarily. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to give it a try, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to let, once I'm done with all my makeup, I'm just going to let it all sit on there, and I'll check in with you guys later and see how it wears, just like I did on my first foundation over 40 video. I'm going to take a big Real Techniques powder brush. I have to set this, at least try to, because it's the most awful feeling. And you can see, now this has some color to it. This is definitely not, it says fair on it, so obviously they're letting you know that this has pigment. But you can see when I put this on, it's lightening my skin tone. See that, Revlon? This is what fair should be. This feels, in my opinion, so far, just first impressions on the face, it feels nice. I just don't know that I'd be comfortable using this around my eyes and under my eyes. I don't know that it's moisturizing enough for somebody with mature skin like me. So on you younger gals, this will probably work perfect, because it's a nice, especially for drugstore, I would say it's a real nice, very finely milled powder. But it's already under my eyes. I can see, like right here, I can already see all the wrinkles coming out. See that? And my eyelid looks a lot more wrinkly, and I can see wrinkles coming out here and here. Yeah, so this is definitely not one that I would recommend for mature skin. But other than that, it's a good powder. And again, this is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. Okay, now, next I'm going to move on to, because I don't have any other face products from Revlon. And right now, quite frankly, after the experience I just had with this, I'm glad. This is Maybelline's this is a new palette. It's their Master Bronze and Highlighter Kit. And I'll just go ahead and swatch all four of them and then show you to kind of try and, oh wow, that has a lot of shine. Is there a matte in here? There's not a matte so far. There's not a single matte of the bunch. So you can see going from lightest to darkest. See, as the light hits them, they all have a sheen. Now, this one here, obviously the first one is the highlighter. Sorry, my light's kind of blowing it out, isn't it? First one's a highlighter. This one is kind of a gray tone, a light taupey gray tone in the pan. But then when you put it on, it's like turns peach. They're all warm. They're definitely not what I would use for contouring. But what's interesting is look in the pan. This one here in particular looks like a taupey brown that would be nice. And this dark one over here, you know, these two look like they'd be perfect for contouring and this for bronzing and then highlight. But when you put the colors on the skin, not the way it shows up. Let's see here, and I have the blush one as well. So let's go ahead, and again, all of those in the bronze palette have some form of shimmer or sheen to them. They're all fine, very finely milled. I mean, they're very soft, except for that fuchsia. Well, the blushes are a little bit more. Oh wow, that one's really. Now again, the highlighter is, sorry, the highlighter's over here, and then you have 3 blushes. And you can see that one on the end. Holy mama, that would really work for dark skin, because that sucker is pigmented. And it looks like, it's hard to tell, but it looks like these all have a sheen to them too, all the blushes. So let's go to this one. I got this one little individual one here. This is color 25, and this is their Fit Me Blush, again by Maybelline. Let's see if this one's matte. Appears to be matte. So there's the single blush I bought, which again is color 25, and it's right here, and that appears to be matte. So I think I'll try. I might as well just try these. What I'm going to do is just kind of take all of the. They're probably going to be too dark for me, so I'm just going to kind of smush them all together and try warming up my face with them. All colors together. Whee! Don't normally do that, but what the hell. Oh, you bangs. Go away, bangs. And I think what I'm going to do, since this video has now gone on forever, I don't particularly like splitting my videos up, but since I haven't even gotten to my eyes yet, what I'm going to do is just finish up my face here on this one, and then we will do first impressions on the eyeshadow palettes in a separate video so that I can, you know, I'll have time to swatch them and everything. So if you're interested in seeing all these Maybelline eyeshadow palettes, the video will be posted very soon after this one. And that'll give me time to be able to not only swatch them for you guys so you can see all of them, but to try them out on my eyes. Now as for these, this powder's going on really nicely. And again, I'm speaking of this bronze palette here, and I'm just taking all 3 and just mushing them together. But you can see it's blending really nicely, and it's not too dark for my fair skin, but you can definitely build it, as I'm seeing as I'm doing this more and more. I need to stop now. So, and even though I didn't like the colors here when I swatched them, looking at them looking at them after I blend them out on my face, they're actually really pretty. All 3 of them together. You know, see, it's nice, gives you a nice natural glow, and they're not patchy, they're not, you know, they just went on real nice. So let's see how she looks. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Maybelline does some really good blushes for drugstore, and what I like about them is they're not normally, that blush palette has very pigmented blushes in it. But normally what I like about them is they're not so over-pigmented that you're just drowning in color, you know. Because I prefer to have a blush that gives me a little chance to work it into my skin and to build the color if I want to. So, yeah. These definitely pack a punch, as you can see there. You know, they've got a lot of color to them. So if you're one of my beautiful dark-skinned women out there, this I think would work for you. Highlighter that's in the contouring, the bronzing palette here has a lot of yellow to it. So that's not going to work on me. And this one might even be too dark, but I'm going to give it a try. So I'm going to grab this other little contour blush, or contour brush, I can't even talk today, from Real Techniques. There is a lot of kick up in this pan though. When I touch the brush to it, it just goes flying everywhere. Well, it looks like it has some glow to it, but it's nothing, you know, real overpowering. Oh yeah, there you can see it. Hey, so what I'm going to do off camera and stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and end this here, and I'll take care of my brows and getting everything ready for the next video, which will go over these little, what are these called? Maybelline, the City Mini palettes. Are they all called the City Mini? Yeah, they are. And I think I have all of them, I believe. At least I tried to purchase all of them. So if you're interested in seeing those, plus the rest of the eye products I actually purchased from Revlon, and I bought as many as I could find to show you guys, then keep an eye out for the next video, because we'll break this up so it's not, because I know this one's going to be long. And I will come back with a follow-up on this hole here. Right now, after I've put everything on, all of my other face products, it's not looking horrible, but I don't like the way it feels. That's the, you know, I'm curious to see if it's going to kind of set down more and if it's going to meld in with my skin. But right now I feel like I have very, very heavy products sitting on top of my skin. And you can definitely see the lines in my forehead still, even after this $20 primer and all that. You know, you saw it. So anyways, thank you so much for sticking with me. I will come back and several hours from now and give you an update on how this all looks. Right now it is 11:45 a.m. So I will be back in several hours later and we'll see how this is held up.
8 hours later.
Hello everyone, and I am back for a check-in on the, not only the primers, concealer, what's this stuff called? The Revlon Youth Fx, the Fill and Blur primers and foundation. And let's see here, it is 8:37. So I've had this all on for exactly 8 hours. And let me tell you, I'm ready to take it off. I will say that, you know, when I first put this on, as you guys know, you saw everything that happened when I applied this. When I applied the primers, there didn't seem to be any problem. Waited for the forehead primer to dry like it said. But then when I went and put this on is when I saw the problem. Not only was this foundation unbelievably thick. I mean, thicker than any foundation I think I've ever used before. It was really different, especially for a foundation that is targeted towards mature skin. In my experience, I don't usually see foundations that are this heavy in consistency that are targeted for women my age. But when I put it on, though, the consistency wasn't the only problem I had. The other problem I had is that it stuck everywhere where I had applied. Excuse me. It's my mama. Gotta answer. Hello?
Hi.
Hi. Can I call you right back? I'm just finishing up recording.
Oh, okay. Alright, bye-bye.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
Oh, no problem.
Love you. Bye. Sorry, I always answer the phone when my mama calls. And for those of you who are wondering, she's doing much better. She is at home now recovering. That's why I've been absent from YouTube. For those of you who don't know, my mom was hospitalized and was very sick. So, but she's home now and doing better, and I appreciate so much all of the prayers that you guys and all the well wishes that I received on social media and other places. So thank you for that. Anyways, back to the product. When I applied the foundation, it literally adhered everywhere. I felt as if the primers were Velcro. They were the positive Velcro, and this was the negative Velcro. And then getting close and take a look after 8 hours of wear what she looks like, shall we? Boop. Okay. It's not a pretty picture. I don't know quite what Revlon was thinking when they, let's do it so my whole face shows, when they created this foundation. But if you look, you can definitely see the lines on my forehead. As a matter of fact, I think the lines on my forehead are even more pronounced and more obvious than usual. And I used this $20 Fill Plus Blur primer for forehead. Now, unless somebody from Revlon or somebody that knows about these products real well wants to tell me that I did something wrong, because you'll see me apply every bit of it, I don't know what to say. As for my, the other product I used, of course, was the second primer. I'll tell you, another $20 primer, and this, of course, is the Fill Plus Blur for face and neck. So not only do you need to get the one for your forehead, but then you got to get one for your face and neck. Jesus, I gotta. If you notice, let me pull my little cheeky back. Not only is the line still here, but it's even more pronounced than it normally is. And you can see how the product has creased on both sides of it. Basically what it looks like is like right here where I have my smile. Yeah, see that right there? As opposed to the primer filling it and then the foundation going over it and smoothing that area, it's almost like, how can I describe it? It's like you know, if you're laying pipe and you dig out a big trench for the pipe and then you don't put anything in and it's like this and there's dirt piled up on both sides of the trench, that's what this is like. I've got a big hole here where there's no product, and on both sides of that wrinkle there's product built up. I mean, it literally took my smile line right there, which is usually never visible in terms of an actual wrinkle, and made it look like a straight up wrinkle. Can you guys see that? And it did it, and this whole wrinkle going down here, it did the same thing. So I hope you guys can see it. Smile line sticking out, line sticking out. You can see the deep crevasses, which are my forehead. I just... Okay, now as for how the foundation wore. Can you see how it wore? Shows you how much I need a ring light. Boy, I'll tell you. And I do apologize for the lighting. I know it's atrocious right now, but it's 8:30 at night, so this is the only way I can do this. Actually, maybe I should just leave my flashlight on for right now and put it like that. How's that? Sorry about this. Anyways, in my personal opinion, I will tell you this. When I first put this foundation on, I hated the way it felt. Absolutely hated it. It felt like it was smothering my skin. It felt thick. I literally felt like I'd just taken a freaking thing and shellacked my face. I mean, that's the way it felt, honest to God. Now, I will say that after I had it on for, I recorded another video after this one where I show all the Maybelline, the little city, I forget what they're called, the city something or other palettes, city palettes or something like that, and I did a demo look with one of them. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'll have a little card where you guys can check that out. But it was during the filming of that, so it's probably about an hour after I applied the foundation, where it actually felt like it, instead of smothering my skin, and it just felt horrible up until then. But then it actually smoothed out and felt a lot better on my skin. And like right now, I don't have that heavy, nasty, smothering, suffocating feeling that I did when I first applied it. Right now, I really don't feel like I have a lot on at all. My forehead feels a little heavy. From, you know, I did put on their primer and then foundation on top of it. But other than that, and you know, looking at it, it looks like it's pretty much all worn off my chin area here. I did eat dinner, but, you know, I don't normally drool and, you know, get food all over my chin. I'm usually a pretty clean eater. But as for, you know, like my cheeks and stuff, I mean, you can still see areas where you can see some pigmentation through the foundation, but I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty good. Now, when it comes to like my pores and stuff like that, on this side I noticed I can see my pores a little more visible as compared on this side. I have no idea why. I did not use any pore filler at all. I will say that this foundation, which kind of doesn't surprise me for how thick it is, it seemed to fill my pores really nicely. I mean, you can see them. They're not real visible even after 8 hours of having this foundation on. You know, it looks a little on my nose. It looks a little, I don't know if it's breaking up or if it just looks kind of cakey on my nose is the best way I can describe how my nose looks. I will say this. Interestingly enough, the primers and the foundation are meant to work together. Personally, myself, unless I'm doing something wrong, and please tell me if I am, I don't think they work good together at all. I mean, you saw how it performed. I don't, you know, enough. So, I will, what I'd like to do is I would like to try this again without, you know, just using like my normal thing I do of, you know, my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream and, you know, just poke yourself in the eye, Shelby, and, you know, putting something on, and, you know, some cream under my eyes, moisturizing cream, and just being really having my skin really heavily moisturized, and then trying this again and seeing if it applies different to my skin. And I'd be interested also to try these products with a foundation that I know works and see, you know, like maybe, you know, the CoverGirl, which I love this Healthy Elixir foundation. You know, maybe I can try the primers with that because I know the way that foundation performs on my skin. And this is a much, much lighter consistency foundation. But interestingly enough, it's a lighter consistency but has heavier coverage than this Revlon one. So, I don't know. I mean, my opinion right now, that's the best I can give you guys. I don't want to say, you know, I don't want to say I hate it, and I don't want to say I like it, because I can't. But because I want to give it another shot. Just because of the fact that so many things were off. You know, the way it applied over the primers, how thick it was, but you know, and if it still felt like absolute on my skin, I would say forget it. I literally would take that, throw it in the garbage, and move on to the next. But because of the fact that on my, you know, my cheeks, and, you know, it actually, like I said, about an hour after I had it on, it seems as though it I don't know, maybe it you know, binded to my skin and actually felt like second skin, as opposed to feeling like I just smothered shellac all over my face. I mean, it was that was absolutely the worst application I've ever had of foundation. So that was a new one for me. Anyways, so I hate to not be able to give you a firm yay or nay on this, but I don't feel as though it would be responsible of me to do that, just because there were so many factors that, you know, and given the fact that I had to spray Fix Plus on my face, I sprayed the Mario Badescu on my face, and that, you know, you guys saw how much I sprayed on my face. I mean, I had to do it till my face was soaking wet, literally, and that can affect the foundation and how it wears too. So, you know, I don't want to give a yay or nay on this foundation until I can really get a good test wear with it and see how it performs without all those factors. And I'm definitely going to try it without those primers and see if the primers were the problem. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. For how much I paid for all this, it's almost not worth the trouble. I mean, it's just, but you know, that's what I do here. So I'm going to try it again, and I will let you guys know. In the meanwhile, I have some other foundations coming up to try. Some of them are drugstore, some of them are high-end, and I do have a couple luxury ones that I'm going to be trying too. So we're not going to give up on the foundation front for us mature gals. I am determined to find ones from both the drugstore and high-end and luxury that we can enjoy. So we have a little pick of each one. So anyways, that's it for this one, you guys. That's my final check-in. I am going to go take this off and let my skin breathe again. Breathe again. Because while it feels better than it did when I first applied it, it still is not how I would want a foundation to feel on my skin. But I will tell you this, I think this is one that if you could actually get it to apply nicely to your skin, I think it'd stay a long time. So, because it seems like it's pretty anchored in there. Anyways, I hope y'all are doing great. I hope you enjoyed this kind of disaster of a foundation review, and I will be trying it again. We'll just put different variables in the mix. So if you're not subscribed, I'd sure appreciate if you subscribe, stick around for a while, and give this video a like if you enjoy having these foundation reviews. And other than that, again, I'm really sorry for my lighting. I promise you all, I am very much working now. I've got the ghostly lighting because I had to put it down. So we've got the ghostly ambience going on. Anyways, look at it, I can make shadow puppets. Anyways, I am very much saving for a ring light, and I cannot wait until the day I have one, because I'll tell you, I am so limited in when and where and how I can record, because I have to hit natural lighting, and it's just horrible. Modern day problems. Anyways, wherever you're at, I hope life's treating you good. If you're having struggles, you're getting through them and persevering. And just remember, wherever you're at in the world, love and respect your fellow humans. I love ya. Till next time, bye!